fact that our vice president will be a Muslim does not mean that Christian rights are being violated, does not mean that Christians are being marginalized, insulted, denigrated, or anything at all. There are ways of handling this matter.
Hey, my people, men I can't see the kind of energy where Fani Kayode they use the defend Tinubu Muslim ticket yesterday for Channels television. You know, say Shehu Sabi ask question. Men I see the way people Shehu take question now because because they try to talk say at least Muslim is still better than carrying another Fulani. You know, you see this. Men I watch the video first. Men I watch. Let me share this with the back. Let me share the watch the video. Let me share it.
It's referring to the same faith ticket.
Yes.
And how that will impact on your party's chances in the north.
First of all, I think, well, let me start by saying I have nothing but immense respect for Mukhtar Shagari. We served in the same cabinet under President Obasanjo, and I think he's one of the brightest people in this country, and he spoke very well there. Needless to say, I completely disagree with him. First of all, you can't cry more than the bereaved. I'm sorry to say this, but he's not a Christian, he's a Muslim. He says he's speaking up for Christians or violation of Christian rights. I'm a Christian, and I'm telling you that I don't see that the rights of Christians have been violated at all, simply because we have a Muslim ticket. The buck stops with the president, not with the vice president. The fact that our vice president will be a Muslim does not mean that Christian rights are being violated, does not mean that Christians are being marginalized, insulted, denigrated, or anything at all. There are ways of handling this matter. And what are those ways? There are positions like SGF, there are positions like Chief of Staff, there are positions of power, key power positions in government that Christians can fill and will fill under a Tinubu administration. That's the understanding and that's the deal that we have. So the idea that he will get on television and make it look as if we have committed a grievous sin simply by having a Muslim ticket, I think it's wrong, it's disingenuous, and as far as I'm concerned, the suggestion that it is being unfair to we're being unfair to Christians is a specious lie. I've said it over and over again. If I felt that Christian rights were being violated in any way whatsoever, I would be on the front line of the crusade against such a thing, because I take my faith exceptionally seriously. And there are millions of Christians that are supporting this ticket regardless of that kind of disinformation. Let me end by saying this in terms of what Mukhtar said. He is supporting a candidate that happens to be a Fulani like he himself is. Now, he talks about fairness. He talks about being reasonable. He talks about doing the right thing and being fair to everybody. In a country where you have over 300 separate tribes, for example, key major tribes, over 300 of them, is he suggesting that it's fair and reasonable to have a Fulani man in power for 8 years in the north, and then you don't have another Fulani man in power for another 8 years? 16 years of Fulani rule. That is what people like Shagari are advocating and suggesting. And what we are saying is that no, this cannot be right. The Fulanis themselves, not the minority like Mukhtar Shagari, but the majority of Fulani themselves in the north are saying enough is enough. We've had enough of this. Let power go down to the south in the name of equity, fairness, unity and peace, and let us have a president that will serve the interests of Nigeria and not a question of Fulani and Fulani succession. This country is not owned by anybody, and people like Shagari and others that toy with this idea of continuous Fulani rule. I happen to have Fulani blood in me. I'm a Fulani traditional title holder. I'm somebody that has most of my friends are Fulani, so I have nothing against them. But that suggestion that we should continue in that way, you know, it feeds into the whole narrative that we should separate as a country, which nobody wants.
So, I mean, you are campaigning and you're preaching that there needs to be a balance, and that, I mean, after 8 years of a Fulani rule, I mean, so that same argument, if it's flipped,
yes,
in terms of, because there are two major issues here,
right,
the issue of ethnicity and the issue of religion. Sure. So those who are watching you right now will wonder whether you're speaking entirely the big, I mean, the whole picture in terms of how things should be balanced out. If you're criticizing the other end, that they are not balancing things out, I mean, the question will be posed to you, that is your party balancing things out? You have a President Muhammadu Buhari who is a Muslim, and you're saying that in your own party you should have a Muslim, not only as a presidential candidate, but also as a vice presidential candidate. What do you tell your critics tonight?
First of all, we don't balance things out. We're moving away from the idea of balancing things out in the name of religion.
So it doesn't matter in area of religion.
Let me make this very, very clear. Buhari has a vice president that is a Christian. As far as I'm concerned, I've said it over and over again, I'll say it here. He did absolutely nothing to protect Christian rights in this country over the last 8 years. And I criticized him for that. And I'm saying to you that the fact that Buhari had a Christian vice presidential candidate is one thing. Tinubu's is a new dispensation, a new beginning. And what we are saying is this: what matters is not to have a Christian vice presidential running mate who may not even be able to protect the interests of it, but to have a man with character, strength, righteousness that can defend the interests of Christians and Muslims.
Ethnic balancing will achieve that. That's your argument.
No, it's not
that we should balance things in terms of the tribal and ethnic.
Let me state the
ethnic complexity that we have.
Let me state the argument.
But I'm saying, and I'm asking you tonight that a lot of your critics have asked you, your party, that if you are criticizing the other side about ethnicity, the same argument goes if you flip the page on the issue of religion.
Can I answer that? Because you've asked me.
Okay, it's the third time I'm asking you.
But each time you haven't let me answer. Let me answer it clearly now to you. I say it again. The issue of having a Muslim president and a Christian president, that is Buhari, vice president, that is Buhari and his running mate, for the last 8 years is one thing. Fair enough, okay? Now, the issue of having another Fulani president this time around for another 8 years, okay, is something that is dangerous for this country. Now, that's totally different to saying that you're having a Tinubu candidacy, that is a Muslim presidential candidate from the south, and a Muslim running mate. Why? Because the Muslim running mate has absolutely no executive power or role unless it's delegated. The cry for justice, the cry for equity, is the cry for power shift. It's not a cry for religious shift. It's a cry for power shift.
You don't think
it does not matter? Listen, in our part of the country, the southwest, Christians and Muslims are one. We don't play that game. Okay? In Osun State recently, no Muslim complained. Where you have a state of 50% or 60 to 40% Christian to Muslim, or 50%, where a Christian won the election with a Christian running mate. No Muslim complained, no Christian complained. The issue is who is at the helm of affairs. Who is the president? Who has executive power? And what we are saying is far more dangerous to have a Fulani for 8 years, another Fulani for another 8 years, and then secondly, it is far less dangerous to have a Muslim, southern Muslim, as our president, and to have a running mate, that is a northern Muslim, as his running mate, which has no significance whatsoever in terms of executive power.
Let me ask you yet another question, perhaps one of those that...
My people, before una forget, make una no forget, say, this Fani Kayode, na him be the person wey stand up, talk, say, there is nothing, that is the way he go support Tinubu, he would rather do this, he would rather do that. This man, this Fani Kayode, nothing wey he no fit defend for it. See this man and Festus Keyamo, two of them, as far as money they involved, they fit do anything, because two of them, they almost jobless. That Festus Keyamo, which job, they mean in the son. How many cases wey he don't go? Which case in they go since all these years? Now, no politics in face. This Fani Kayode, which business in they do since? All of them don't chook head for politics. So they just they find way they relevant. They fit defend anything. They fit even sell Nigeria just to preserve that little change that they get from those politicians. See the way you just they busy. Carry all your energy where you're supposed to invest for one industry, use and they generate something for this country. Use and employ individuals. You carry and they defend Muslim tickets. I don't even know the kind of thing we don't eat inside in our head. Because you they try to defend Muslim ticket. You the same people no vote for another Fulani. Because Fulani na in the 8 years now. Now make them no vote for another Fulani. And you don't forget, say, Tinubu na Muslim. Buhari na Muslim. So, okay, that is Muslim go rule Nigeria now for 16 years. I'm not even interested in the Muslim whatever. But why must people make it mandatory that it has to be a Muslim? So, Tinubu no fit get Christian wey go fit add value to him ticket. See, when you know say you no get anything, you know they vote for people to vote for you. Now that time you go dey look for ticket wey you go use do backup. Now people they claim say Peter come from minority, and okay, maybe they feel say maybe majority based on Christianity, but minority based on religion. Now you still go pick another minority or majority based on religion over there in the north. But minority based on political, that is a political geography and the rest of that. Now that they feel say now so it be, but is it not making wave? When people find value in you, you don't even need what you just need is somebody who is good enough to be your running mate. When people find you qualified, you don't need to stress yourself. Say they find how you take back up your ticket. Now only way you get nothing to offer, now you find who will give value to your ticket. Because Tinubu obviously get nothing to offer. APC don't fail. APC have failed over the 8 years. Yes. Over the 7 years they've been in power, they failed. If they've not failed, it would have been very easy for Tinubu. If Tinubu pick anybody, in ticket go get enough value because he go dey campaign with wetin Buhari don do. But unfortunately for them, they no do anything. So that's why he has not been able to campaign with what Buhari has done. Instead, he's campaigning with Lagos that he's claiming. See, Nigerians, may we just use our tongue, count our teeth. Because this thing wey dey go on now, it just be like conspiracy. They just wan set Nigeria up. If we enter this way that they plan for us, na only God go fit comot us.